And the thing is, I mentioned it earlier, there's a lot of energy behind y'all's performances too. And I've seen the videos of these. You talked about the fire dancers, and that's just a small example of what you guys do, just the passion y'all have on stage. It's infectious, really. And every video I see, it's just everybody's happy, right? Everybody's got a smile on their face. What's the roadmap for this? Is this something you guys think about beforehand? You know, we're going to make sure this is a really high-driven, you know, energetic show. Or is it just natural?
No, that's pure.
It's just pure.
Yeah.
We read the roadmap since day one.
Because there's a lot of joy in what you do.
Well, there's freedom. Listen, I'm an old addict. I'll be 110%, but there's no drug like the drug that I found when I hit that stage. That stage will feed me every time, and it will leave me wanting none.
And I can't speak for these guys, but me personally, like my energy comes from the crowd. If the crowd is energetic and into it, then I'm energetic and into it, you know, but it's a you feed me, I feed you kind of thing, you know what I mean?
But
if I'm not getting fed, I can't feed you back, you know? Yeah. So a lot of it's just room reading, really, you know.
But there have been times, I know multiple times, when we graced a brand new stage, a brand new venue, and we walk in, and they know that they booked a rock band because I made sure that they knew we were rock before we came.
Yep.
And so we'll step foot in a venue, and I turn and look at Mason and John, and I'm like, they ain't gonna like us here.
Nope.
but we gonna give it to them exactly the way that who we are, because we're not changing for them.
Well, it's the venue's responsibility to know who they're booking.
Well, and they love us.
You know.
They really do. Like, if they give us just about this much time, just the tip.
East Texas Bowling Greens, when they put Co.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you knew what you were signing up for, guys.
You're talking about the Great Balloon Race. What was that about? Come on. Yeah.
You knew.
I can't believe he was cussing on stage. How come you booked Coat Wetzel?
Right. What were
Did you not do your research?
It's like booking the Pope and expecting him not to pray. Like, what are you doing? I saw that and I lost my shit, man. I was like, what do you mean you didn't know? Oh, well, we talked to him beforehand.
Well, you didn't.
So that means he's doing it for.
What's crazy is these people bought tickets to go see that with his name on them.
Yeah, it didn't know.
And you brought your kids.
Yeah, to see Co Wetzel.
You bought the tickets and brought the kids.
Yeah. Golly,
you can't complain about it.
I love that stuff. They weren't asking him to do cover songs. I promise you that. So yeah, you guys write as well. Obviously, you do have some amazing original songs. My favorite is coming up at the end of the show, by the way. And I learned of another one last night when I was doing more research. Man, I love this. Doing this show is so much fun because literally my research is listening to music. Like, you can't beat that, right? You literally can't beat that.
It's a love language.
It really, truly
is.
It's like a day full of medicine.
But yeah, I found a song called, that you guys did at that fire thing, the Peyote song. Peyote, yeah. And golly, so Metallica-like, man. I was like, this would be like Metallica with a female lead. No. I was like, God, this is great.
I'll take it.
No, I pulled my headphones off last night, and my wife and I are laying in bed, like we're side by side laptoping. You know what I mean? And I said, listen to this shit right here. And she was like, well, okay, all right. But yeah, 8 Me is coming up later. But let's talk about the process behind your songs. You mentioned that each of you is kind of adding your ingredients to the songs. But where does the base of the song come from? Are you the songwriter?
Me and Mason are the main ones, but we all write.
Okay.
We all write. Like
sometimes she'll come to me and with lyrics and like just
a
rough foundation of music, and I'll take it and transform it into what ends up being the final product. Or I'll take a piece of music that I've written with no lyrics and come to her and be like, hey, put some of this. You know what I mean? Or I'll sit and write a complete song from front to back. You know, it really just depends on my mood. You know what I mean? As far as who does what.
Are your songs more inspirational, or do you make an attempt to write at times?
It's more, for my instance.
In other words, are they reactionary? Like something happens and then you're like, oh, I need to write that down.
Well,
mine's like a diary. Okay, listen, if you go back into, like John said, I know what that one's about. Like, I'm like, you better hush. You better hush. Like,
should be telling ourselves.
I tell on myself through my songs. Like, there's certain ones where I was just pissed off and I just needed to get it out.
No.
And so I wrote it, and then it came out. You know, I never thought that it would come out, you know, but like, you know, Feeling Cheap was a pissed off song. I wrote that because I was mad.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, I was running around.
Well, I mean, songs come from emotion anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Myself, I never sit down with my guitar and be like, all right, I'm going to write a song.
No,
you know what I mean? Like that has never happened.
Yeah.
It's just always, I'll be playing and I'll find something.
Yeah.
And then something clicks with me in my head, you know what I mean? And it just kind of all fits itself together in a puzzle almost effortlessly.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
or it also happens when we're in rehearsal.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, and they'll just go into this
jam,
and I literally just hit record on my phone, like I know better, because they're not going to remember what they played.
It's like those "What was that" moment?
Yes,
right?
and
like,
we have a lot of those.
Do that again.
We have a lot of those.
Yeah,
and so that's when I learned. You know, you hit that record button, and they're gonna. They're gonna know. You know.
I love that. So as you grow within your art, how do you achieve more and more comfortability with that? You know, just kind of getting experience in writing, and is it all emotional for you, or?
A lot of how we build in that is feedback.
Yeah.
When we go to the studio and represent this to the guys at Steel Records that we work with, and they're blown away by, oh man, we can't wait to work with this song.
Yeah.
That's Steve Shively, right?
That is.
Yes,
Kyle Root.
Yep.
And then we go out to some of the jams and we break out some of these new ones, or our music buddies, some other guys that are playing out in East Texas come out and check us out, and they hear it, and it's just a positive feedback from everybody. It's really truthful feedback. Like, call a turd, if it's shit, call it shit.
Yeah, and they will, and they'll let us know really up front.
But
we don't get our feelings hurt about it.
It's just constructive.
It's just constructive. You know,
that's a good producer. To be honest, that's a good producer. Because he's putting his name on it.
Right.
Right, and there's a lot of producers out there that they'll put their name on shit because they're getting paid for it.
Yeah, it's all about a dollar.
And then that's when you know you don't have a good team behind you. You know what I mean? If you're in the studio, don't get me wrong, I'm not a musician, I'm not an artist, never wrote a song in my life, can't click a pen in it. That's me. But I've been in the studio a lot with different acts. And if your producer doesn't tell you suck at least once, you don't have a good producer.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, let me tell you, I didn't know how I play off of emotion a lot when I'm on stage.
Right.
Like Mason says, the crowd gets into it, I get into it. Okay. And sometimes I love to jump around, you know, call me crisscross. I jump up to get down. Okay. It's just what I like to do.
Showing our age, Jessica. Come on now.
Hey, I'm okay with it. Okay.
I missed the bus.
I'm seasoned.
I missed the bus.
So when we went into the studio, oh my God. It's a whole new beast.
It is, absolutely.
And so I'm used to feeding off of these guys on stage, like we're in and we're just, you know.
Now it's all technical.
Oh, now it's broke down, and I'm in a little bitty room, and my guys are in the 2 rooms over, and all I can hear is them here. And but I'll tell you this much, you know, Kyle, he puts my feet to the fire, and he's like, okay, that right there. Give me 3 more takes. And so a verse that's only like 3 lines, I'm going to have to do 15 times.
Yep. They say studio work is called that because it is work.
And I am exhausted. Like when we get into the truck to leave, we get there, we're pumped, bro. We are ready to go. Let's go. When it comes to leaving, we're like, see you later, bro.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the studio, like there's nothing scarier as a musician than walking into a studio for the first time.
Yep.
because it really will make or break you.
Yeah, especially if you're planning to play your own parts, right? Because a lot of times you just have to, you just your vocals, and they have their own players on there, which I think is very risky as a live band too, because you have to replicate that as a live band, and if it doesn't sound like the record, that's tough because you're essentially trying to sell that record.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I have a lot of respect for bands that use their own pieces in the studio. It's very, it's daunting. It's very
common now that like Stain, for instance, they just did a new album not too long ago, and Aaron Lewis did an interview where he sat down. He said flat out, like, none of us were in the same studio together at any point during this album. Like, I recorded my part here, they did theirs there, and over here. And that's super common nowadays. And what's uncommon is bands that actually still go kind of the older school route with it, and we all get in there and we work together on that song in the same studio with the same producer with the same team.